Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
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 Good afternoon.
Are y'all able to hear Ms. Foster now?
We could hear Ms. Foster. She said she couldn't hear us.
That's why I want you to hear earlier.
Okay, let me get, I'm gonna resend it to you, okay? Okay. All right.
Oh, I know what it is.
Mr. Davis and Ms. Lewis trying to get in when you get a chance.
All right. Can y'all hear Ms. Foster now?
She said she.
Yeah, we've been able to hear her the whole time.
Good morning, everyone. I couldn't hear you all.
Right.
You're good now.
Mrs. Bills, Mrs. Foster, can you just guys provide us a quick update on what we're doing now? We're waiting on a couple of our commissioners.
Yes, Ms. Bill just came to the door and said that Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Lewis is trying to get in. So Terrain Clizelle is going to assist them now.
Okay, great. So we'll get started in a few minutes once we get them on.
Once they're on, we're ready to get
Okay,
started.
great.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Miss Bibbs, who we got on the call?
You're muted, Ms. Bibbs. We can't hear you, Ms. Bibbs.
Mrs. Bills, you might need to change your audio settings, change the microphone that you're using. At bottom left corner, we can't hear you.
Ms. Bibbs, check your computer audio. Oh.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Let you know.
Everybody hear me? Awesome. So we should have the full board now. Let's see, let me double check Miss Lewis. I think he said he got her signed in, so hopefully we can hear her. Yeah, she's on. So we have the full board.
Hey, Miss Bibbs.
Yes.
Yeah, who do we have on?
We have the full board. We have Commissioner Hood, Commissioner Thompson, Commissioner Pantassis, Lewis, and that should be it. We have everybody. And then Attorney Moore and Ms. Foster.
Okay, all right.
And then we have, of course, our staff.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. The regular meeting of the HABD Board of Commissioners is now called to order. We'll start with a moment of silence. Amen. All right, roll call. Vice Chairman Hood.
Present.
Commissioner Pantassis.
Present.
Commissioner Thompson.
Present.
Commissioner Lewis.
Present.
All right, so we have a perfect attendance. All right, let's see here. We got the adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, so we're moving to proper second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the agenda is adopted. Approval of the minutes for a regular meeting, November 19th, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, so we're moving to proper second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Is there any old business? Old business? Old business. All right, well, what I do want to kind of go back to a few weeks ago. I just want to just thank the staff for all that you did for the program for former Commissioner Reverend Dr. Morrell Todd, and with the renaming of the Morton Simpson housing community. I just want to thank you for all that you did, for the committee to help put that together. It was really well attended and it was well put together. So just want to thank Ms. Foster. If you could thank the staff for the board, we really appreciate everything that they did to pull that together. I would like to thank my colleagues that were able to attend. I know everybody wasn't able to make it, but Vice Chairman Hood and Commissioner Pantassis, thank y'all for coming to show Reverend Todd some love. I know Commissioner Lewis wasn't able to make it out, and Commissioner Thompson, I know you're doing great things within your line of work, and so I know that probably precluded you from being able to make it, but I know you were there in spirit. But just thank y'all so much for what you did, and you know, coming out to congratulate Reverend Todd I just want to thank the mayor's office and Kelvin Dasher for coming out to say a few words on behalf of Reverend Todd, former Mayor William Bell, who appointed Reverend Todd, and Mr. Eldridge Knighton, the president of the Reverend Dr. Morel Todd Community, for coming out. So thank y'all so much for making it a great event, and just kudos to the staff, Mrs. Foster.
Thank you.
All right, any new business? Any new business? Okay, hearing none, we'll go down to the interim president CEO's report. Mrs. Foster.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Attorney Moore and all those that are present on our Zoom call this afternoon. I present to you the interim president CEO's report. Under our COVID-19 update, HABD is monitoring the increase of COVID-19 confirmed cases. Due to the increase in numbers, we are working with the agencies to increase testing at the sites. We successfully tested all the residents at Freedom Manor. As of December 3rd, 2020, we had a total of 70 residents reported confirmed positive for COVID-19 throughout all HABD sites. We continue to encourage all residents to take advantage of the opportunities when they reach these locations. Under our operational update, HABD, City of Birmingham, and the Brenshaw Consultants successfully submitted the Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant on December 16, 2020. HABD Support Services Team is working diligently to move the Southtown Court residents to meet this January deadline. As of December 11, 2020, out of 428 households, a total of 198 residents remaining to move, with 51 under inspections and 22 assigned to other public housing units. We're moving approximately 20 residents per week. Freedom Manor management staff is continuing the process of moving residents into Freedom Manor. There are a total of 62 vacancies with 80 applicants on the waiting list. The waiting list will remain open until the vacancies are filled, and we are currently in the lease-up process. HABD is partnering with Jefferson County Commissioner Sheila Tyson and her team to provide credit restoration services for HABD family self-sufficiency and home ownership participants. This program will provide funding to repair credit for the participants to meet their goal of home ownership. A press conference scheduled for the month of January 2021. HABD is partnering with the Housing Authority of Bowling Green, Kentucky to host the January 2021 Martin Luther King Jr. Southeastern Regional Conference with NARRO. This is a youth conference which we named I Am the Dream Fulfiller. This Zoom conference is scheduled Saturday, January 16, 2021. This annual conference is usually structured as a basketball tournament and cheer competition with an overall goal to encourage academic achievements. This conference allowed our youth an opportunity to travel within the Southeastern region. Due to the pandemic, plans are altered, and we plan to provide a list of virtual-based educational activities for the youth. This event will have the presence of youth from over 20 different housing authorities. HABD is hosting a holiday team building event for all employees tomorrow. This event will be held virtually, and again, it's tomorrow, Friday, December 18, 2020. And as Commissioner Davis mentioned, on Monday, December 7, 2021, HABD held a ribbon cutting and site dedication ceremony to celebrate the name change and recognize HABD former Commissioner, Reverend Dr. Morel Todd. We welcome everyone to the new Reverend Dr. Morel Todd homes. The event was well attended with heartfelt comments. This concludes my report.
Thanks, Mrs. Foster. Are there any comments or questions concerning Mrs. Foster's report?
Yeah, can you give a little bit more detail about the lease up for Freedom Manor? Anything that we can do to speed up that process, or is COVID kind of slowing down getting those 62 vacancies resolved?
Yes, sir. It's the COVID. We have a list of residents in the pipeline to be throughout in our compliance piece. And the holdup is really those that are uncertain when they can actually move. So we have several residents already scheduled. It's just It's just the delay of their comfort in moving to the units.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Foster. All right, we're down to financial services. Mrs. Foster.
Yes, we have Celine Kashama, our accounting manager.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Foster, for the introduction. I am going to present the financial statement as of October 31st for public housing and central office. So let me share my screen so I can show you what I'm going to be doing. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to start with, this is the financial statement for public housing and central office as of October 31st. And I'll give an explanation for anything that's above 10% between the actual and the budget. First item is the insurance proceeds. As of this fiscal year, we have not received any insurance money from the insurance company. We are completing the work, but we have not received any money yet from them. Number two is the office expense. That line is under budget because maybe with the COVID, we are not back 100% yet. So it kind of, we have saving on paper and phone and ink and stuff like that. So that's why that line, number two, we are under budget. Number three, the same is that the legal expense line item, we are behind. We are not behind, we are under budget because we are not really doing eviction as of October 31st. But I'm sure once we get back 100%, then we start processing the eviction again, we should go back up where we need to be for the fiscal year. Number four is travel and training. COVID again. With the COVID, nobody really has been able to go anywhere. We are training, but it's online, and most of them, we are trying to find free training that we can do online, so it's not costing the agency any money. But once the COVID is over and then we are able to travel again and go training, then that line is going to go up again. Okay, number six is the tenant service. This is just for the resident participation fund. Like I said last month, so far we have only 5 sites that had requested the funding. So as soon as we are back and the money, they start sending us the funding request again, that line is going to go higher as the year is going. On number 6 is material. Again, we are under budget just because we are not really working 100% yet. So we are working, but we are not buying as much as we would have bought if everybody was back in the office. Number 7, it's pertain to the protective services. The city just finished the audit for the year, and I'm sure they'll start sending us the invoice to pay. I've seen already 2 invoices, but they are going to be paid in December and January. So once we get to January, we are going to be higher than what we are showing now. And number 8 is the bad debt collection. Because of the COVID, we are not really kicking anybody out. We are letting everybody stay until pretty soon we are going to start back evicting people again. But so far, we are not with the moratorium and the waiver. That's what that line is on. And overall, we are showing a profit of $552,677. But we do not anticipate that some profit to continue by the end of fiscal year because we are budgeted to be equal. Everything is going to be offset once we get back into business. Okay. That's the financial for public housing and our central office as of October 31st, 2020. Have any question for me?
Thank you for the report. I think all of it made sense. The only one I had a question about was the insurance proceeds.
Okay.
Is any reason for the delay, and do we anticipate that coming through soon? And what's kind of the reason for the holdup there?
When we are doing the work, but they have not given us the money yet. Some money came, but it's going to be in December and January. I saw some money in December, so by the time we do the presentation for December, then that line is going to have some money. But as of October 31st, we had not received it yet.
So, and also Commissioner Fantastic, what they usually do is they send us approval that they will pay the funds. And then once the construction is complete, then they cut the check for those proceeds.
Okay, so you don't, basically the insurance part, it's not abnormal for it to be delayed at this point.
That's
No.
right.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Mrs. Foster, I'm thinking about our training budget, and looks like we've only spent about $450 so far this year. This feels like a really good time, you know, because of COVID, because we're, you know, using computers and things like that for our staff to really upskill and participate in training. So, you know, I would like to see maybe at the next meeting, we kind of talk about professional development planning for our staff. I mean, because we have the money, we have it budgeted, and just probably is a good opportunity for us to make sure that we're investing in our people. So, no, I don't, I need to understand better about our cadence around when we do our career development planning, when we do our performance evaluation, then kind of talk about what our staff want to do going forward. But I think, you know, training and professional development needs to be a part of all of our staff's career development plan. And if so, I think it's probably a lot of really good virtual training out there. Like Ms. Kashama said, some of it is free, but even if it costs something, we have the money available to take advantage of that.
So actually during our teleworking process, the Human Resource Department has assigned training to all of our staff. So there have been some ongoing training, and she do say free, but we still pay for it on an annual basis. So it's not actually free, but we can provide a list of all the training that was provided to all the staff during this time we've been teleworking. And they've been overwhelmed with training.
Okay.
Substitute.
Very good.
Yes.
Great.
All right, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Okay, the second, I'm going to present, come to the board to ask our authorization to write off $51,947.73 for public housing as of December 30th, 2020. Of the $51,947, $52,000 of it is only rent. $52,491.73 is rent. Maintenance charges $806, and the total is $51,947.73. And the next spreadsheet is just a comparison of what we were last fiscal year compared to this fiscal year. Last fiscal year, at the same period, we had 70 accounts that were charged off for $47,711. And this year we have 40 for $51,947.73. So your approval is requested for us to go ahead and write off $51,947.73. Any questions, commissioners?
Any questions? Hearing none, if I could entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the charge-offs.
Okay, thank you, commissioners.
Second.
Okay,
All right, been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that item's approved.
okay, thank you, commissioners. Okay, my third presentation is the CARE Act funding. I'm going to present it as of November 30th. We have received, for the public housing side, we have received $4,759,762. Of that, we have already spent $900,231. $62,680 was just for the tenants. We bought them, masks, gloves, sprays, and stuff that they will need just to stay away from the COVID. For us, for the employer to come back to work, for the equipment, we spent $70,802. The community center, we bought some 3 vans for the community center. It cost $88,669. We replaced some trucks and cars for the employees. It cost $314,275. We had bought like 225 computers for the staff. That's going to make it easy for teleworking and so forth. That cost $273,234. And then just the equipment that we'll need once we come back, like the camera we are looking at and stuff like that. That cost us so far $90,571 for a grand total of $900,231. We have to spend this money by the end of December 31st, 2021. So we still have like $3,859,531 to spend. So any question?
I mean, I think my question would just be, is there a plan, a strategy in place to utilize the resources? I know we still have I don't think COVID is going anywhere anytime soon. And I know that we're gonna probably see some new challenges even in the new year, but is there some sort of strategy that we should be reviewing or thinking about so that we can utilize those resources?
Yeah, well, well, Commissioner Thompson, as you can remember, we did approve a budget for those funds. So I guess what we could do is go back and take a look at the budget, see where we are with the, with the budget items, where we are with those, and kind of, overlay that with what's already been spent and put together a process, if you will, of how we're going to move forward with the budget that the board approved.
Makes sense.
Mr. Chairman, one thing I might ask, so that we don't, redo work that's already been done there, is if Ms. Foster and her team have any insights into the budget that we approved, and having now had a few months hindsight, is there anything in there that they might recommend we relook at, or have there been any new observations of need that we might be able to address, as opposed to doing a full-fledged audit of everything we've already approved?
So we currently are on track with what was submitted to the commissioners as relates to the budget. There will be a point where we will be bringing the budget for a revision, and we're really wanting to kind of wait on that until the new president CEO come aboard, get his input on how he wants to see some of those funds to be spent. But we do have pending draws that will be coming to you on a monthly basis to show additional funds that are spent based on the budget that's provided to you, such as staffing and some of the items that was procured, some trainings for the residents that we're waiting for the procurements to complete. So once those are done, we'll be able to bring those expenses to you. And again, and when the new president CEO come aboard, we'll do another revision to bring to the board for approval.
That's good.
All right. Yeah, that I think that sounds like a good process.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. That was my last item.
All right, thank you. All right, we're down to human resources, Mrs. Foster.
Yes, we have Calandra Jefferson Mitchell, VP of Human Resources.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Give me 1 second, my screen changed. Okay. Can you all see the board action?
Yes.
So Commissioners, first I have in front of you a request to approve for the revision of the human resource policy. The information the agency is making falls under C, classification plan 1.0, employee classification with revision made to 1.2, attachment 1. E, recruitment and selection 1.0, general, with revisions to section 1.0, attachment 2. The information in black is what is currently stated in the policy. The information with the line strike through signifies deletion, and all text with red denotes addition. So the proposed of this action is to have clear guidelines in place related to the employee classification plan and the recruitment and selection for HABD. The description and justification. The HABD human resource policy is being revised to make sure the policy and procedures are clear as it relates to the classification plan and the recruitment and selection process. So Commissioner, if you look at attachment number 1.
Ms. Mitchell, would you scroll your?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Attachment number 1, classification plan. 1.2, the administrative classification of the president CEO will report directly to the Board of Commissioners and shall function in accordance with the position description adopted by the board. So Commissioners, that is the first change, just removing the and the internal auditor. Attachment 2, recruitment and selection. Up under general, adding 1.2, it is the policy of the HABD that the board establishes personnel positions, and then the president, CEO is solely responsible for hiring and managing the people who fill them. So Commissioner, we are requesting for your approval to revise the human resource policy. C, classification plan 1.0, and E, recruitment and selection 1.0, general.
I had no problem with
Any
these.
questions?
I don't have any questions or problems with this. It looks like there was a spelling error in the second part. I believe we had a plural positions that needs to be changed, but otherwise, I'm fine with it.
Yes, sir, and we'll change that. The second attachment.
Yes, ma'am. If I saw that correctly.
Okay. Commissioners, anyone else have any questions or comments?
And forgive me if I missed this in a different iteration, but what was the reasoning for removing the internal auditor?
Yeah, so I can provide some historical perspective on that, Commissioner Thompson. The way our bylaws were set up, the board had the authority to hire any third party or employee that it deemed necessary to fulfill the duties of the agency. HUD advised that that may be kind of moving a little bit toward day to day. So they recommended that we make changes to our bylaws and our policy to make it clear that the president and CEO is solely responsible for hiring staff. So this is a process that we're doing to clean up our policy and our bylaws to make sure that it is in line and in sync with making sure that there's no ambiguity as far as the Board of Commissioners, or being construed that the Board of Commissioners is getting involved in the day-to-day operation of the agency.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Chairman, I'll offer a motion that we approve the changes to section C and E as laid out by our Human Resources Director.
A second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that item's approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Commissioners, next you have in front of you a request to revise the Board of Commissioner bylaws. The proposed is to request board approval for the revision to the HABD Board of Commissioners bylaws. The Board of Commissioners will move to amend Article 2 of the bylaws by adding a new Section 8. The information in text with red denotes addition. Commissioners, I would allow you all the opportunity to review it. Please let me know if you want me to read the changes in red aloud.
Jefferson Mitchell, just to clarify, you said you said we were removing section 2. We're not actually removing section 2, are we? We're just adding section 8 to Article 2.
Yes, sir. No, we're moving to amend Article 2.
Okay, moving. I thought you said removing.
No,
Okay.
sir. We'll move
Gotcha.
to amend Article 2.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that clarification.
Do you all want me to read this out loud, the changes in red?
Possibly, I'm just
Go ahead,
for the minutes.
Go ahead, Mrs. Foster.
I was gonna say probably for the minutes, it's best that she do read them out.
Also, it looked like Attorney Moore was about to chime in. Attorney Moore, did you have anything to add?
You know, I just wanted to say, I don't think it's an amendment. It's just, well, it's adding Section 8, correct?
Correct.
That's what I wanted to make sure that we know, that we did not have this prior to now. This is an addition to what we already had.
Right, adding new Section 8 up under Article 2.
And if it helps just to kind of refresh everybody's memory, this is basically just a clarification, a lot like the chairman just eliminated, essentially defining the role of the board in connection with HABD and how the chain of command of sorts is set up. So it's in line with the model rules suggested by HUD and other National Housing Authority organizations. So it just simply clarifies that and puts it in writing so that our bylaws are consistent and clear.
And adding guidance about providing, I guess, board orientation, training, and resources to new board members.
Correct.
So Section 8, I will read it aloud.
Jefferson Mitchell, I would be in favor of us not reading it, but I defer to my colleagues.
Well, what I would do is I would like to give the floor to Attorney Moore. I think she is the one that has reviewed these items, this document, and this is a binding document. And for the record, the board is the only entity that can make recommendations to change the bylaws. These are the board's bylaws. So it does not come from staff. This is a board recommendation to change the bylaws, and that's the only way that the bylaws can be changed per the bylaws. So I just want to make sure that is clear. And Attorney Moore, I want to give the floor to you, since you were very instrumental in putting this language together, making sure that it's legal and it's fluid. So I would like to give the floor to you, Attorney Moore, to see if you would like to kind of sum this up so we can move forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just as Commissioner Patazis has stated, we actually worked on this jointly. This is just to bring everything into succinctness, where it defines what the Board of Commissioners' responsibilities as far as the management of a housing authority, that it shall hire the executive director. The executive director shall handle the day-to-day operations. But to just sum it up, it is very standard as to other boards in the US, and as far as this is a standard for HUD. There is nothing that's embedded within this document or within this Section 8 that is not the standard language. So just to sum it up, it's just to say that the executive director shall basically handle the day-to-day operations, follow the guidelines, everything as far as being important for the operation of the housing authority. So unless there are any direct questions, I think that sums it up as far as what we're doing. And also change number 2 is just making sure that the commissioners will institute in their board or orientation training that it is consistent with AAHRA Commissioner's Handbook and everything else that is pursuant to HUD guidelines. So those are the only 2 additions to the bylaws that we have at this time. Unless there are any direct questions, I think it just sums up exactly what we've done.
Are there any
Thank you,
questions?
Attorney Moore. Mr. Chairman, if it pleases the board, I'll offer a motion that we make the changes to Article 2 to add Section 8.
A second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that item's adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. All right, we're down to procurement. Mrs. Foster?
Yes, that's Carl Edwards, Director of Procurement, to present, please.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Anyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Before you, I have 3 action items that require your approval. The first is the approval of award of contract for professional moving services. And in September, the board approved this to move forward for contract, but after a review by HUD, it was declined or denied for contract. So their recommendation was for us to put it back out and resolicit. So we did that, and this action is what occurred under this solicitation, which currently A&H Moving Service is under contract with HABD until March 12, 2021. And based on the needs of the agency for additional moving services, we're trying to add other qualified contractors to our moving service list. 2 firms submitted a bid in response to the IFB. The following bids were submitted and evaluated. Lambert Relocation, which was the same company that bid it the first time and was awarded the first time through board approval, submitted a responsible bid as recorded on the tabulation sheet. A review of the contractor responsibility was completed. Lambert Relocation Inc. was not listed in the system for award management department. The company also holds an active business license in the city state to perform this type of services. Therefore, management recommends that the contract be awarded to Lambert Relocation Inc. to serve as an alternate to the above mentioned contractor. Any questions?
And I also want to add that we did get the approval from HUD on this action.
And each action that I'll go through, it already has been HUD approved, so we don't have any issues with getting their approval moving forward.
Mr. Chairman, are we going to offer motions on each one of these?
Yeah, we're gonna do them individually.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion that we move to accept the contract for professional moving services with Lambert Relocation.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that item's approved.
Thank you, Commissioners. The next item is a water contract for roofing replacement at the Collegeville Center Housing Community. Bids were requested from qualified contractors to provide roofing replacements at the Collegeville Center Housing Community. 2 contractors submitted a response to the bid. The following bids were evaluated. Crimson Contractors, Inc. submitted the lowest, most responsible bid and the amount of $1,007,000 to provide the roofing replacement at Collegeville. Review of the contractor responsibility was completed. Crimson Contractor, Inc. was not listed in the system for award management database. The contractor also holds an active business general contractor's license issued by the state or city to perform this type of service. Therefore, management recommends that the contract be awarded to Crimson Contractors, Inc. Any questions?
I also want to add that about 80% of these funds will be paid from my insurance proceeds.
Good. I'm certainly no roofer, but I'll be honest with you, I had sticker shock when I saw the number. But Mr. Edwards, I trust that this number is probably consistent with the level and type of work that is required for this community.
Yes, because the insurance estimate was actually higher minus our depreciated value. So the actual estimate that they came up with was higher. So we're sitting way below their estimate.
Okay.
All right, if there are no other questions, if I can entertain a motion.
Chairman, I offer a motion that we approve the contract for roofing replacement at the Collegeville Housing Community with Crimson Contractors being the contractor.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that item's approved.
Thank you, Commissioners. And the last is approval of award for contract for the HABD Southtown Court demolition project. The Housing Authority of the Birmingham District requested bids from qualified companies for the demolition of the Southtown Court housing community. Work includes building demolition, hazardous material abatement, hardscape demolition, site utility demolition, suitable soil infill, grading, project management, general safety and security in the designated 3-block area, and any other items described in the project manual or the plans. 5 contractors submitted a response to the IFB. The following bids were evaluated. Bostic Trucking and Excavating, Inc. submitted the lowest, most responsible bid in the amount of $2,682,000 to provide demolition for Southtown Court. Review of the contractor's responsibility was completed. Bostic Trucking and Excavating, Inc. was not listed in the system for award department database. The contractor also holds an active business general contractor's license issued by the state, city to provide this type of services. Therefore, management recommends that the contract be awarded to Bostic Trucking and Excavating, Inc. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Edwards, I have a question. So can you explain to me and the board what was the why did we elect to proceed with an IFB versus an RFP for this particular item?
You can go either direction, but the simplified version of doing a solicitation is to do an IFB when you're doing construction or demolition work. So basically, most of the time when we do construction or this type of service, then we'll use an IFB. It still has qualifications that you have to meet because we pre-qualified them prior to, but the simple form to do is the IFB.
So with the IFB, I know with an RFP, one of the things as far as the criteria you use is experience, prior work and things of that nature. So was that taken into account with this IFB?
Yes, and as I stated, we did a pre-qualification to qualify the contractors before they could submit a bid. So we reviewed their experience qualifications, their financial statements. So we're aware of what their capacity is as far as, doing this type of work and what kind of experience they have.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, if I can entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the award for contract for the HABD Southtown Court demolition project to the recommended contractor.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. That item's approved.
All right, thank you, Commissioners.
All right. Assisted housing in section 8.
Yes, I asked Kendra Drake, VP of Assisted Housing, please proceed with the presentation.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for allowing me to present an action item at today's board meeting. Doing so will permit continuous workflow within the Section 8 department. I have one item for board approval, which is revision to the Section 8 administrative plan. Please note that items in red denote additions to the policy. There is currently one change requested to be added, which is to add the verbiage and/or electronically. Due to the interest of time, it is imperative that we add at least this addition prior to December the 31st, 2020, and we will present additional changes to the administrative plan at a later date and time. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Mr. Chairman, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, just to give a little more information, at last board meeting, there were a lot of changes that were presented as relates to this, to the administrative plan. So what we decided to do is, because we're coming up on revising our annual plan, our goal is to present those changes at that time, which will allow the residents an opportunity to review and give their input and changes and recommendations to the administrative plan on how this process should take place. So those changes will be forwarded to the board for review through the annual plan. Just to give a little background on, because last month there was a list of changes that were made, and also to add that this was presented to Attorney Moore, and she read and agreed, and we're on the board with what agreements of what is presented today.
Yeah, if I remember, thank you, Ms. Foster. If I remember correctly, those were the two main concerns. That one, there was practically not going to be an issue for our residents in the way that the applications would be received, and then two, from a board perspective, we had concern about the lack of legal oversight at that point. But it sounds like you guys have fixed both of those concerns for now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I will add that I will support this document the way it's written in order for us to move forward with our process. I know that time is of the essence, And I'd like us being able to allow the residents to move forward, to have input on this document. As far as I know, one of my concerns is accessibility and being able to hand deliver an application. So I think that's definitely, I will support the residents having an opportunity to weigh in on that process. But I'm definitely in support of this document, the way it's written at this time, that will enable us to move forward with our process.
Thank you.
I'm
All right.
fine with it as well. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Yeah. So we got a motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that item's approved.
Thank you guys so much. Also from the prior meeting, I was asked to provide information regarding the waiting list process. You should have received that as a report in your board packet for your review. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can also pull it up too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, real estate development.
Yes, we have Christy Hilliard, our real estate project analyst, to present her board action.
Good afternoon. I'm going to get ready to share my screen. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but before you present, Ms. Hilliard, I just want to establish the ground rules here. Mrs. Hilliard is going to present information for a board action. Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. Move forward, Ms. Hilliard.
Okay, can you all see my action item? Again, good afternoon, Commissioners, Chairman Davis, Ms. Foster, Attorney Moore. I have before you all today board action, approval and authorization to enter into an option to ground lease in connection with the redevelopment of Southtown Court. At this time, I bring before the board this board action to authorize executive to sign on behalf of HABD an option to ground lease. Because the actual ground lease is not ready for consideration today, we ask that we do not wish to delay the application process for the 4% LIHTC application for our co-developer and its affiliates. So we're asking that you all grant executive the authority to sign for the option to ground lease.
So Ms. Hilliard, share with them when the 4% application will be submitted.
Okay, we're looking to apply for that 4% early part of 2021. There's going to be some other documents that will have to come before the board. We're looking to bring forth the actual ground lease later on, but this will be to proceed for that 4% early part of January 2021. Any questions?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm getting this correct. So you're asking for authorization to allow the interim president CEO / incoming president CEO to move forward with the signing of the ground lease.
The option to ground lease. So it's a placeholder for us moving forward with the application. We will have the terms of the actual ground lease in negotiation between our real estate attorney and our co-developer, but this allows to show evidence of site control for the project when we apply for the 4%.
And also, Commissioner, this option was provided in the master development agreement that was presented to the board a couple of months back.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
just practically speaking, we're looking at, this allows us to get 4% housing tax credit because we're now showing that this control is there. And it's already been predetermined by our previous approvals in the development plan to give this ground lease to TBG Southtown Senior.
That's correct.
Was there any other, I mean, and this, without getting into the weeds too much, I mean, we didn't have any option to give this ground lease to anybody else, right?
Correct. So I have, if it's okay with Ms. Foster, I do have a representative from SDC to give a further background, but that's correct, Commissioner Pantazis.
Okay, and I assume a lot of this has been laid out in previous board meetings, so I'm not trying to get you guys to rehash all of that, but I just want to make sure.
Correct. It's a portion of our MDA, and committing to, in the future, we were going to give them the actual opportunity for ground lease, but it's under legal advisement at this time, the document, the full ground lease. So we enter into this option. We know that we're showing evidence of site control for that 4% application for our co-developer and its affiliates.
Yeah, so it just, to me, Commissioner, this just sounds like a cursory document because we've already given them the authority with the master development agreement. So this seems to me to be just a reaffirmation of what we've already approved.
That sounds good to me. I'm on board.
Okay. Any more questions?
All right,
sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Did I hear a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion authorize HABD to enter into an option of ground lease in furtherance of the redevelopment of the Southtown Court.
A second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the line is approved.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. All right, staff report.
I've asked Cosette Todd, our compliance officer, to do a presentation on our resident participation fund update.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Currently, the CPAB and Site Resident Council Handbook is under review by the CPAB leadership team. Once the assessment is complete, CPAB leadership will submit any suggested revisions for HABD to review. The updated CPAB and Site Resident Council Handbook will be included with the annual plan for residents to review prior to HUD's approval. The community engagement is actively working with the resident council presidents to ensure that they are all up to date with their resident participation funds. We have a total of 10 sites with a resident council. As of the first quarter for fiscal year 2021, we have 4 sites that are current. The remaining sites are currently fulfilling the requirements needed to receive their funds. 2 sites have experienced illness and have elected to submit paperwork at the beginning of the new calendar year. 4 sites are missing documentation such as quarterly budgets and our reports. Ms. Kidd, the Health and Wellness Coordinator, is diligently working with the resident council presidents to identify all missing documentation so that they can receive their funds. And I will forward a detailed outline for each site to Ms. Foster for her to share with the rest of the board. Do we have any questions?
Thank you for that report. I think it's great to keep updated on this and to keep an eye on things like this so we can make sure that we're all, doing what we can to provide the necessary resources and if there's any gaps like we've talked about in the past. I think it would be great at some point in that report to kind of see say a 6, 3, 9-month timeline of where things have been and where they're headed as far as the amount of funds being dispersed and the missing documentation, what we've done to kind of correct that. So maybe at some point, once all that's kind of come to a little bit of a stopping place, it'd be great to at least show all that kind of work that you guys have been putting in, because I know it's been a lot.
Okay. And I do plan to forward a breakdown for each site to Ms. Foster. So you should have that later than tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Hardy, and thank you, Commissioner Pantasis. I know you worked on a lot of this information along with Ms. Todd and others to try to help us get us to where we are. So thank you, Commissioner Pantasis and Ms. Todd for helping to move the ball down the field. And we really believe with a concrete process in place with some guidance from staff that more of our communities will be able to receive their participation funds. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we got Hollyhand development update on the villas at Titusville.
Yes, that's Chrissy Hilliard, our project analyst, to introduce our consultants, Hollyhand Development.
Good afternoon again. Thank you all for letting us come before the board and give an update on Villas of Titusville. We are in our final phase, phase 2. We have completed our 64 units of redevelopment for the project-based units. So we have Ms. Marcella Roberts, Vice President of Development, who will give a presentation, and she has some exciting news, I think, for our residents and our community. Ms. Marcella.
Thank you so much, Christy, and good afternoon to the board and the staff and visitors for the HABD board meeting today. So thank you for the invitation to come and just give an update on the villas at Titusville. We have exciting things going on. You know, we've been together, I guess maybe 5 or 6 years now on this journey. And so I'm always excited to come and just share good news. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen and walk through a couple of things because some of the board members are new and I've not had the opportunity to share information with them. So I'm just gonna kind of run through the stages from beginning and then we can kind of go from there. So let me start sharing my screen. Okay, great. So just to talk a little bit about the redevelopment of Loveman Village. We have been, as I said, on this journey for about 5 or 6 years together with this redevelopment, and it's just been an awesome time of redeveloping what is a beautiful community with beautiful families and people that we have come to know and love. So as you know, Loveman Village was a 500-unit property that was built in 1952 and was named after a former commissioner, Joseph Loveman, who was commissioner at HABD and also the owner of the popular Loveman's department store downtown Birmingham. And so it was exciting for us to be a part of the history. And so many of our citizens and a lot of our politicians and dignitaries and others actually came from the Loveman Village community and have shared stories with us over the years about their time there and growing up and their families as well. So this is just an aerial photo of the previous property, Loveman Village, the 500 units. And after working with the HABD board and the staff, we came to an agreement to redevelop the property in 3 phases. The first phase was an off-site phase of 120 units, which is known as the Park at Sydney Drive. And the second phase is the Villas at Titusville, which is 100 units on site that you see that's completely leased now. And we're in the process of development on the third phase, which is the Villas at Titusville 2, which is 64 units on site as well. So we have completed the Park at Sydney Drive, and this is just a little bit on that property. Just a second, let me move this over. just a little bit of information on the park at Sydney Drive. As I mentioned, it was 120 units developed there, project-based vouchers under the RAD program, and the financing was a mix of 4% bond and some financing from HABD. It is a beautiful property that I'll show you a picture in just a minute, but it's a mix of walk-up and townhouse style units. Total development cost was about 18 million on that project. And it was a mix of financing, as I mentioned, tax credits, some HABD funding. And we completed that project in May of 2018. And this is just an aerial view of the park at Sydney Drive. And it is a beautiful property. And my understanding is that the residents and also the people in the community are enjoying that. The next phase is the villas at Titusville, and that's the 100 units that's on site of the Titusville, the previous property, and it's known as the villas at Titusville, and it represents the first on-site phase of this development. And it's a mix of 18 one-bedroom units, 41 twos, and 41 threes. Total development cost on that site was 23 million. And it was a mix of financing. And this phase included 1.5 million in city home funds, which was a really great partnership between HABD and the city of Birmingham and our development company to receive 1.5 million in home funds for that particular project. So that was great. Normally they do not commit that amount in funds for tax credit properties, but we were excited and they were excited about the redevelopment of Loveland Village and wanted to make sure that they could do their part in making sure that that happened. So this phase of the project was completed in November of 2019 and it's fully leased. And this is just a photo of a portion of the villas at Titusville. So just a little bit on the status of phase one. Of course, we finished and we leased it up last summer. As I mentioned, we've been working on this for a while. We did receive a couple of weeks ago that the approval from FHA for the permanent mortgage on this phase. So we'll be closing on that, and it will allow us to actually pay back the construction loan from HABD, and then also share in, and then we'll be sharing in that development fee. So this is a good thing for HABD because it means a payday for all of us. So again, like I said, we've been working on it for a while and we're excited about the progress and where we are on that phase. Now, the villas at Titusville 2, which is under construction right now, is 64 units. It is a mix of funds and we're excited because we were able to secure some funds to help with that funding that we were not expecting, and but we actually needed it because of some of the high site costs that we ran into on this property. So the site work was really expensive. Our target date, the total development here was 19 million, and our target completion date is December of next year. Just the status, this is just a photo of what's under construction right now on the third phase. And then just to give you a status of some of the things that we're going through right now as it relates to this development. We expect it to be finalized sometime maybe in the summer, but our deadline is actually December of 2021. We always experience some wet winters, and so we have to go through that process of sometimes getting a little behind on development due to the weather and other things. We also learned that we've got some major rerouting to do of some of the utility lines along MLK. And so we're working through that with the city engineers and everyone at this time to work out a plan. So that's some additional costs that we didn't expect, but we're working through all of that. We're working with the city to widen the right of way to permit the installation of the sidewalks. If you're familiar, there's a new rapid transit bus station that's going to be coming down MLK. And so we are widening that and allowing for sidewalks to be able to support the rapid transit bus station and working with them. We will need some approvals from HABD on this, and we are working through that with the city and the housing department at HABD. The cost of phase 2 is high, a little higher than expected because we had some of the overall site costs, as I mentioned, and as we demolished 200 units in the third phase, we had to give an account for that. So all of that was, and then also we're installing the entrance and the boulevard in this phase. So that's pretty costly as well. So we're absorbing a lot of this in the third phase to bring the boulevard in and do a lot of the site work that will support the entire development. So in that light, we were able to secure some additional funding, which is really good. We were able to secure $500,000 from the Federal Home Loan Bank AHP fund, and then also $500,000 through the Capital Magnet Fund through United Bank to complete the project. So that's an additional $1 million that we didn't have, but we were able to secure those funds to complete the project. So we're moving forward and moving forward with everything that we need to do to make sure that the project is complete definitely by the end of 2021 on the third phase. And at the end, I just wanted to share a little bit of good news that I just received, I guess right before the board meeting start. And I just put a quick picture here to show you one of the partners that we work with, our accountant, the Tidwell Group, and who's also responsible for a lot of the accounting on this particular project, the redevelopment of Loveman Village. They are going to provide all of these toys and gifts for the children of the families at the villas at Titusville. So they just sent this to us and said that all the employees got together and they had a sale and they were able to buy gifts and provide toys. And they will also be providing a $50 gift card to every family that is currently living at the villas at Titusville. And this is compliments of the Tidwell Group, which is our accounting firm that we work with on the villas at Titusville. So they are excited about being able to give back to the families at villas at Titusville. And they really enjoy working on this project with us as the accounting firm. So just wanted to share that bit of news with everyone on the board today. So thank you for the opportunity to just give an update on the villas at Titusville. And I will welcome any questions or comments.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. This is definitely exciting. So appreciate all the work that you're doing. Got
Absolutely.
Two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, I know the UAB Healthy Alabama program, part of UAB's Grand Challenge, has been doing some work over in that area by the villas. I didn't know how actively engaged you and your team are with them. If not, I want to make sure that you guys are working hand in hand.
I've heard of it from the staff at HABD, but not very involved. So we'd love to get involved. If there's an opportunity for us to do more, then we'll be happy to do that. I welcome that.
Thanks. And these final two phases, will that complete the entire redevelopment of what was Loveman Village?
Yes, that will complete the redevelopment of Loveman Village. And I'm smiling because I'm excited to see it's going to be beautiful, and I can't wait until the boulevard is in and you'll finally be able to access, and it will have ingress and egress from MLK, which I feel was so important to reconnect to the community through this development. So yes, we'll be complete with the villas at Titusville.
And Commissioner Hood, I want to add that addition to the construction that they're doing, we're also working on the daycare center that is located on Loveman Village. So that is on the way as well. So it'll be connected to, we have the same deadline as to complete that redevelopment of that daycare center. We're renovating that through a HABD grant that we applied for, and also some HABD funds. And we'll work with the Birmingham City Schools. They're applying for a grant to provide the educational skills in the daycare center.
Awesome. I was also excited to hear about the sidewalk because I come up and down MLK sometimes going back and forth from home, and I see people walking in the grass or sometimes even walking right there in the street, and it's just,
yes,
it scares me. So I'm glad that you guys are addressing that as well.
Yes, we are. We're working on that. You can see they've made a path up on the hill there because there is no sidewalk. So.
And Ms. Roberts, on behalf of the Housing Authority of Birmingham District, please thank your partners for providing those great gifts to the residents at the Village at Titusville.
I sure will. I sure will. They'll be sending you a letter, and I think you were copied on some emails just right before the board meeting started, so you'll see them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Roberts. And I know this is a project that we've been working on for quite some time. And I will say this, it's really been a pleasure to work with Holly Hand Development. You guys have been an awesome partner. You've been responsive, you've been responsible. And I think that this is, it's been a really good relationship that we've had with you guys as far as being a developer partner. And so I know this is about to come to an end here pretty soon, but I just want to thank you for all that you've done to make sure that this development got to fruition from start to finish. And I would like to echo the sentiments of Mrs. Foster. Please send our well wishes to the Tidwell Group for what they have done for our residents for the holidays. That means a lot to us that we have folks that really care about our residents. So please send our well wishes and our thanks to the Tidwell Group.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I grew up on the west side of Birmingham, and so this is near and dear to my heart. So I'm just excited to see this redevelopment come to fruition. And it's been just a pleasure working with HABD as well. So on behalf of Wynn and I and Doug and the whole team, we just want to thank you guys for an opportunity to do this development.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, comments for Ms. Roberts?
Now, the only thing I would say is, even though I'm new to the board, my church, More Than Conquers Faith Church, is really excited about everything that has happened over in that area. And I've been a part of the thoughtful conversations around some of that development in my previous roles. And so I'm really excited and thankful for the work that you all have done.
Oh, great. Well, Pastor Steve is always a great partner to work with. So that's wonderful to know. Thank you.
All right. So we're down to where we need to go into executive session. We're going to executive session if it's the pleasure of the board to discuss some sensitive contract information. Attorney Moore, is that you there, Attorney Moore?
Yes, it's appropriate.
Is that appropriate?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. Well, we're going to go into executive session. We will be in executive session for approximately 20 to 30 minutes, and then we will reconvene at the call of the chair. Well, I guess we need to get a motion. Can I entertain a motion to go into executive session? We need a motion.
Moved.
All right.
Motion to go into executive session.
All right. Been moved and properly second. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Now we can go into executive session, and we'll be in executive session for approximately 20 to 30 minutes, and we will reconvene at the call of the chair.
Lorraine will put us in a breakout room, right?
Yes. Also, hello, everyone. Give me a second to place the participants in the breakout room for the executive session. And then once you all are done, you'll have an option to leave the room and return back to the main meeting. So stand by.
All right. Very good.
I was just,
I don't see Commissioner Hood. He might not have seen the notification yet.
Julie, this is Christy. What is his name on the participant
Checking to
list?
make sure everyone is in here that's supposed to be. Are we missing anyone?
Commissioner Hood.
All right, let me go back and check.
Julie, so I can type it to Terrain so he can find him. Do you know his name as it presents on the participant list? Is it just
Is everyone here now?
Terrain? There should be another attorney with Reno and Kavanaugh. Jonathan.
I did not see Jonathan in the on the call. What is his name listed as?
That's what I was trying to find out.
It says iPhone apparently.
Yeah, we have about 10 iPhones on the meeting. Tell
Julie,
him
could you
to.
have him? Julie, could you have him change his name so that Terrain can find him?
Is that Jonathan?
Yeah, I just.
Is that everyone now? I think he's in now.
yes, thank you.
I'm leaving
Mr.
out.
Davis, everyone is in.
Okay, very good. So, Is everybody on? Is anybody on?
I'm on.
We're back.
I'm on.
All right. So, do we have a quorum? Yeah, I guess we do have a quorum. Okay, so
Yes.
all right. So the regular meeting is called to order. If there are any persons desiring to speak before the board, they may do so at this time. So any members of the public that are desiring to speak before the board may do so at this time. Going once. Going twice. All right, hearing none. If I could entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, moving to probably second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
All right, good day. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, everybody. Y'all have a safe, happy holiday.
Okay, same to
You
you.
too.
Thank you.